subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon.
This is my first episode of 2022. In fact, in 2021, we couldn't make too many episodes, but we wrote all our necessary numbers of newspapers. In fact, out of 52, we need to write at least 45, and we made 47. And 5 were left away primarily because of Corona pandemic, and maybe because of a couple of holidays or so. But if we look back what we wrote in 2021, 21% we wrote on water related issues. Then 14% we wrote on air pollution related issues. Almost 9% or above 9% we wrote about trees, wildlife, forests. Then the next one was 7%, approximately 7% waste related issues. And then comes the NGT related issues. That was almost about 6.8% of our coverages. And after that, probably it was the 5th most covered part, and that was on EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment. You must be aware that EIA 2020 draft notification is still under consideration. And my today's episode is also related to EIA. In fact, it is a post-EIA. This episode is particularly a critical analysis of a post-EIA compliance report. And since so many years, thermal power plants are perceived as the major polluters, not only in India, globally. So I have chosen this subject, and I am talking about the thermal power plant of one of the most talked about industries, industry group you can say, Adani's. Adani's have established a 1320 megawatt, basically 660 megawatt into 2, so 2 numbers of 660 megawatt coal-based supercritical thermal power plants, and it is in Kawai in the Baran district of Rajasthan. Kawai, don't be confused with that Kawai of Meghalaya. In Meghalaya, Kawai means it is the supari. Tampo is betel and Kawai is an addendum to it, supari. So it is not that Kawai. It is a village name, namely Kawai, Kawai in the Baran district of Rajasthan. And the thermal power plant got its environmental clearance in 2011, in fact, to be very precise, 4th May 2011, by the Ministry of Environment and Forests. At that time, in fact, it was Ministry of Environment and Forests. Later on, when the Modi government came into power, it became Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Then the EC was amended. EC is environmental clearance. EC was amended in 2014. To be more precise, it was on 13th March 2014, much before the Modi government came into power. The reason of this amendment was basically the industry wanted to change from imported coal to Indian coal. I have taken the latest report, November 2021 report. That is the latest, in fact. Let me mention here that when there is an environmental clearance of a project, any project which goes into environmental clearance, as on date, the environmental notification which is in force is EIA notification 2006. Now, as per the EIA notification, any project which goes under EIA clearance or environmental clearance, it has to submit 2 reports annually. That is called half-yearly report or 6-monthly reports to the Ministry of Environment and Forest. Now it is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, their regional offices. And the 6-monthly reports are to be submitted for the period 1st April to 30th September, latest by December 1st, and then 1st October to 31st March, latest by 1st of June. So I have taken, as we are in January today, so I have taken the latest one, that is November 2021, which was basically scheduled on 1st December 2021. So that is the latest one, and as per that report, the industry says that the ash content of coal varied from 29.83 to 34.72. So this could be just a reference, this figure, why I am sharing this could be a reference for you. In fact, how much is practically reported, what they find in, how much the ash content in coal you find, and why is it related? It is related to fly ash generation. So anyway, this could be a reference to the data reported by the company, which I believe that is not validated by any third party agency. One of the most important issues that comes out of the report is the turbidity. The turbidity concentration in a groundwater, especially that has been marked as or reported as labor colony. So turbidity, let me tell you, is a parameter which basically shows how clear is the water, how much it is a hazy, it looks hazy. If there is turbid, if the water is turbid, it looks hazy. It gives let's say muddy water you are taking. If it settles down, then it is clear. So clear and turbid. So there is a turbidity reported as high as 15.8 NTU, nephelometric turbidity unit. NTU is the unit to express, we express distance in kilometer. So NTU, the nephelometric turbidity unit, is the measurement or unit to express the concentration of turbidity in water. So in the groundwater, it is reported 15.8. And what is the range? Acceptable range? It is either the acceptability is 1 NTU. It can be extended in absence of any other alternative sources. It can be extended to 5 NTU. And let me tell you, there is no special standard for groundwater. It is only the drinking water which is being followed. Drinking water standard which is being followed, and that standard number I can tell you is IS, Bureau of Indian Standards, IS 10500. Latest one, whatever going on, is probably 2012, if I am not wrong. So my question is it a typographical error? Instead of 1.58, did they write 15.8? And if it is not, why I am saying if it is not, there is a concern of fly ash, and is the fly ash being discharged or disposed in an unscientific way, and it is causing some impact to the groundwater? Is it so? So this is something, a major concern. There is no reasoning given in the report to this unusual reporting. So it seems like nobody is there to check it or verify it. Nobody is there to see. How can such a huge industry, such a big industry, such a polluting industry can be so casual in reporting a compliance report? Now, next comes is the ambient air quality. The air pollution part. Now, if you look at the monitoring locations, they are not correlated with the wind direction. You have to understand how can you understand the impact of an industry. One monitoring location should be on the upward wind direction, and the other maybe in the downward wind direction. So that you can say that before this industry or before this emission, X was the concentration, and after emission, this much is the concentration. So you can correlate. So that is not available. And secondly, the over the years, the locations have changed gradually. So there is no fixed location for monitoring. So what I said, there are two issues so far. One is the location is not linked with the wind direction, and then the locations are frequently changed. Then the third point comes here is that in the operational phase report, it does not correlate with the baseline. Baseline as in the pre-EIA or pre-project stage. If you are not linking this such type of polluting industries with the pre and post monitoring stages, then it is of no use. So therefore, the data does not speak on incremental pollution load, which is the essence of EIA. Then comes the air emission data. Air emission data does not provide any clear information of the source of air emission. What is the source? It doesn't speak clearly. Then what was the operational load? Then only one parameter, NOx, is written as it is normalized to 15% oxygen. It doesn't talk about whether it is on dry basis or it is on wet basis. Now, another aspect of air emission data is, from my understanding, if it is a thermal power plant, there must be boilers and there is an emission of particulate matters. And when there is a particulate matter, when there is emission of particulate matters, it should have been normalized to 12% CO2. At the same time, the SO2 and NO2 should have been normalized at 3% oxygen on a dry basis. So that is missing in the report. Then the 6 monthly report is also enclosed with an environmental statement. And the environmental statement has different issues, but I have selected one particular issue, that the hazardous waste part. They have mentioned about the hazardous waste generation, they have quantified, but they have not typified it. I mean, they have not given what are the different categories, of course, and what are the different types. Let's say there is used oil. There is a category, maybe 5.1 or 5.2. So used oil may be there. There may be transformer oil. There may be industrial gear oil. So these type of things, they are missing from the report. So that is one. And then according to what is the type of waste, then you should mention there that this much is the waste generated, and this is the way we disposed the entire waste, or this is in the store, it has to be disposed subsequently. So this is missing. They have just given a suo motu, a data that this much of waste was generated. That is a legal missing, in fact. And there is no enclosures in the form of Form 10. Form 10 is the manifest. Form 10 talks about how the hazardous waste moved, how was it disposed. Another interesting aspect of the EC is that no groundwater, there is a condition that no groundwater shall be extracted for use in operation of the power plant, even in lean season, even in dry season, let's say, when there is a shortage of water. Now, to which the company has reported, let me read it out for you, no groundwater extracted during setting up of the project power plant. So what about the operational phase? Are they extracting groundwater? Another significant condition laid by the Ministry as a Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change of today, in the EC, is that the area of grazing land was to be developed as per the environmental clearance. Now, neither the EC has specified the area, nor has the company shared any data, which is very substantial because it is a village. If there was a subject of grazing field, how to feed the cattle? Now, to conclude, I know that you all are intelligent people, so I am leaving this question with you.